Hello, glad to have you along back here in Wenzel's world. Well, today I got my cracked pipe. I call it the cracked pipe because it's this here Peterson spigot P-lip system pipe right in there in that bend there is it's developed a little crack and it don't hurt the smoking any, but there'll be some little brown ooze and stuff come out of there. So anyway, that's the way it goes in this world, isn't it? And in this pipe today, I've got some big in burley from Cornell and Deal. So I've had some in a jar, bought a pound of it back in the winter, and I've got it jarred up. And I had some in a jar to use, and I'm basically through with that. So I'll have to get me some more out. See if jarring it up for a few months has made it better. So hopefully it has. So what y'all got going on today? Cooler today, although it's beginning to warm up. So, but anyway, it's better than what it was last week. So far, this week has been better than what it was last week. Although the last of last week, it got down to 59 degrees after we had an inch and a half of rain. So, anyway, so much for the weather report. Well, as you can see the caption on the title here, I want to talk today about getting back to the land. And I tell you what I want to talk to you about, and that is, well, getting back to the land and being a little more self sufficient or having a garden and maybe some livestock for meat, some poultry, or maybe some livestock like a milk cow or a dairy goat for your milk and cheese or butter and things like that. So that's what I want to talk to you about. I'll see how much interest we have in this video. If we've got interest in it, and I'm not really aiming it at young adults, but I would like to try to be of some help on these videos to young adults, young families that want to get back to the land, or another term, homesteading, or yet another old familiar term, farming. So, and there could be various things said about that. For example, somebody might say, well, all I have is house and yard and a subdivision. How can I get back to the land? Well, how much of a yard do you have? Do you have a quarter of an acre? Do you have a half acre? 2 acres? If you're going to say 3 acres, you might as well think you got something to work with, okay, on a good size scale. If you got 5+ acres, buddy, go for it. If you're not already in the land, then return to the land and to the agrarian lifestyle. So then let's say, for example, you want to get started and you don't know what to start with. One of the most simplest things to start with are chickens. And you might be thinking, well, chickens smell. Well, if you use a chicken tractor, you're always moving it around. So you don't have the odor that you would have if you, and I'm going to tell you something else too. I don't consider it bad odor, and I don't know where the mindset of odor comes from chickens. Half dozen hens in a chicken tractor, you're not going to have any problems. Okay. You say, well, I don't want to do poultry. You know, 'cause with poultry, you can raise meat chickens, or you can raise, you can have hens to have for laying hens for your egg supply. And so you might say, well, I don't have any desire and I can't do anything with poultry or with livestock. Okay. The next thing's going to be gardening. And I took my electrified poultry netting, and I'm going to move this around a little bit and talk to you. I took my electrified poultry netting down from the garden where I could mow around it better. And out of the 4 tomato plants that we have, I picked probably something like 7 or 8 tomatoes this morning. They're what they call Cherokee purple. That's the kind that the wife likes. So you see my little garden, and you say, well, how can you get anything out of that little garden? Well, that's what I'm saying. If you're limited about your space, then don't be. Don't limit yourself with thinking you got limited space. You'll be amazed what you can do with raised beds. You'll be amazed what you can do with a little spot of land like I showed you there where our garden is. In that garden, we've got zipper cream peas. We've got corn, 2 different varieties of corn. I've got a burgundy colored okra, and there's something, onions. I had onions. See, corn, okra, onions, zipper cream, and tomatoes. And so that's what we've had in the garden. So we've been eating onions. We've been eating okra. I've had some corn. And probably next month or month after, we'll be rolling in the zipper cream peas. And so I put this electrified poultry netting around it to keep the goats. Sometimes I'll let them out over here to eat on this fence, on this creekside bank over here. So anyhow, it keeps them from getting in the garden and tearing it up and knocking it down and eating things I don't want them to eat. If you got 5 acres, I'm gonna tell you, you can do a whole lot with 5 acres. Now you need, you have to, when you start doing things. If you live in a subdivision, you need to check, if you don't know, to see what you can have there. You might have gardening. You might have 2 or 3 acres or 1 acre, and maybe you can have some chickens. But if you got 5 acres, you got enough land to raise a couple of 3 hogs to slaughter. You can have a milk cow for your milk supply, buttermilk, and if you want to try making cheese and stuff like that, or butter, churned butter. If you got a family, what that you drink all drinking milk, why you can get a milk cow. They give a lot of milk, just one cow. Or if you don't want to do that, you can get a couple of milk goats and there's different breeds of milk goats. The kind I got is got 2 left, and they're a Saanen, big white goat, and the French Alpine. So anyway, and you'd be amazed what you can do on 5 acres. If you got more than 5 acres, you can start thinking about raising some crops for your livestock. You can raise things. For example, if you like pickles or cucumbers, more than likely some of them's going to go bad. Chickens will eat the ones that go bad. Hogs will eat the ones that go bad. When you start doing other things like tomatoes, some of them may get a little bad spot on them. You don't want to eat them. Chickens will eat the tomatoes. Hogs will eat the tomatoes. So whatever you eat that is a leftover out of what you raise in the garden, whatever you don't eat or you got a surplus of, if you got hogs, they'll eat it. If you got a surplus of milk, they'll 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 consume the milk. If you got chickens, they'll eat leftovers. Say, for example, you've had something that you've eaten a couple of times and you're not going to eat no more. Chickens will eat it. They don't have to have chicken feed all the time. Matter of fact, they like leftovers. They like scraps out of the garden. I had a tomato, well, two of them, I think, that got bad places on them. And so I put one in one chicken tractor. I guess you can see there's two chicken tractors over there. And so, anyway, and they'll eat things like that. So, I mean, it really don't go to waste. And what you're doing then, you're producing some of your own food supply. And I guarantee you, what you produce yourself, you know. Okay, what does that mean? Well, you know if it's got chemical fertilizer, you know if it's been sprayed with pesticides or herbicides. If you're buying organic stuff at the grocery store, you can do organic gardening, which is what we do here. I go out and clean the barns out. That's what I use for fertilizer. The only chemical fertilizer I use is really not a chemical, it's lime. More than likely, your ground needs some lime on it. And the chicken manure, I'll put it around, or you can take chicken manure and put it in water and stir it all up and pour that around your tomato plants. It'll make them grow. Got a lot of ammonia in chicken manure. So you see what I'm saying? So let me encourage you. Return to the land. And if you got some property and you've been thinking about doing something with it like that, go for it. And if there's some interest in this, I'll get more particular about these things because there are many particular aspects to this type of a lifestyle. So in the comments, that's the only way I'm going to know. In the comment section, and you may be watching on TV and you can't do a comment, then you're going to have to go to your phone and bring this channel up. And if you do nothing, then make a comment. If you make the comments that you'd like to see more videos about getting back to the land and the homesteading lifestyle, the agrarian lifestyle, leave a comment. If I don't receive any comments, we'll go on and I'll talk about other things. But anyway, whatever age I am, meaning all I mean by that is the age that I am and the things that I've gone through in this particular lifestyle, instead of writing a book about it, it's a lot handier for me just to get on here and make some videos and ask some questions and show some things that you'd be interested in. Of course, all you got to do is continue to search on YouTube, and I guarantee you'll find other people probably more qualified and better at describing these things to you. But anyway, if there's any interest in this, leave a comment and maybe even leave a comment about something in particular that you're interested in about this particular lifestyle, and we'll zero in on that. Now, if it's something that I haven't gotten into, I'm not into raising big crops. I got the land to do it. I don't have a lot of land. I got 13 acres more or less is what the deed says, okay? But I could grow a tobacco crop on there. I still got tobacco sticks. That'd be a cash crop. I could raise a whole lot more chickens. I could raise hogs. I could have a lot bigger goats, herd. I could raise horses, some. I could raise some calves from cows, not very many. I don't do that anymore. And so one thing, my fences are not good for that any longer. But anyway, let that be as it may. So something on a large scale, I probably might not be that well qualified, but just this small scale farming, if you got any questions about it, well, you can put them in the comment and we'll try to help. So anyway, that's what I'm talking about today. Let's see how long I've been on here. 14 minutes. me dump out some of this ash here. Yeah, I don't know what made this here pipe crack like that. Can't tell it in the draw. I'd say it's got enough, in between that crack and the inside of the bowl right there, wherever it's at, that it's packed well enough where you don't hear anything, any air coming through that crack in it. And I'm not really interested in trying to fix the crack because the crack don't bother me any. So since it doesn't affect the draw any, I'm not concerned about it. So, and to answer how it cracked, now that's a good question. I don't have an answer for. I don't know if you ever tried this big and burly or not. If you're sensitive to nicotine, you probably want to stay away from it. If you like that, be right up your alley. Nothing really to brag about, I don't think. I mean, it's most certainly not an aromatic, so I wouldn't think it'd be anything to brag about. But if you ever want to try it, well, go for it. And one reason I bought it is because you can get this in bulk, so it don't cost as much as it would if you were to order a tin of it, which you can. And you could probably order an ounce of it and say, well, I like that pretty good for occasionally, or that's something I might be interested in regularly. You can get you an ounce of it, try it. If you like it, you can order, pounds of it, I guess. As far as I know, it's still available. Well, I hope everybody's doing well. There's some of the presenters on here I haven't been seeing, and I know why a couple of you haven't been seeing. I hope that your health is good, and if not, I hope you get better. And then another presenter I haven't been seeing anything of, and I hope there's nothing bad happening in the family. So anyway, with these cooler mornings and hopefully more pleasant days, I got to get on some leather crafting again. Here in October, in the little town that's close to us, they'll have what they call Bittersweet Festival. And I made a bunch of belts and cell phone cases and some other things, and took them up there last year. So I need to make up some more of those things and get it ready for the Bittersweet Festival. So anyway, if you live around Kentucky someplace in October, they'll have the Bittersweet Festival for a Friday night and a Saturday night. And so if you want to get out of the house, get out of town, and go to a different place, why come by and look and see what all the vendors have. There'll be all kind of things. So, well, I guess I'll get off here and get on doing something else, and let you get on doing something else. So, until we meet again, be blessed.